Hi there, welcome back to Summer Art Club. Today we're going to be working with art supplies we find outside. We're going to be working with leaves. Some plants have sap that's hard on your skin, and some are even poisonous, so it's good to ask an adult to give you a hand with this. Best to stick with plants you're familiar with. When you pick, be respectful of the plant. Only take a leaf or two, or better yet, if you find some leaves on the ground that aren't too dry, use those. Leaves that are leathery and sturdy are good for printing. Soft, fragile leaves won't hold up to all the inking. And a final tip, you will want to look for flat leaves. This parsley from my garden is too fluffy to print. Flat leaves with nice veins on the underside will print best. First though, before we start to print our leaves with ink and paint, I thought we'd try some frottage or leaf rubbings first. Place your leaf veiny side up underneath a plain piece of white printer paper. Get out your crayons or oil pastels and make sure they don't have any paper wrapping on them, like mine here. Little stubby pieces work well. Like a little crab, pinch the oil pastel on its side and rub the flat side of the pastel over the paper. Instantly you'll see the leaf texture come through. Try a few different colors and layer them on top of each other. Try your hardest not to let the leaves move around under there. You can tape things down if you're having some trouble too. This is an easy way to get a colorful nature collage. Take a good look at these leaves. How are they different? How are they the same? Okay, let's move on to some printing. It's good to have lots of scrap newspaper or an old phone book, if you can even find one nowadays, plus a baking pan from the kitchen. Water-soluble Speedball inks work really well and can be cleaned up with soap and water. Squeeze out a line of ink about 5 inches or so on your pan. Next, if you have a printmaking brayer, go ahead and grab it. If you don't, have no fear. I'll show you how to ink your leaves with a brush and paint in just a few minutes. Dip the brayer into the ink and get rolling. Change direction as you like and get a good even coating of ink around the rubber roller. Now you can roll the ink onto your leaf. Make sure to coat all the edges and the stem too. Pick up more ink as you need it. When you're done inking, place the brayer down with the roller facing up on your pan. That will keep the ink in one place. Next, move your leaf aside for a moment and change the paper underneath so that it's clear of any ink. Next, place your leaf onto some clean scrap paper and drop another piece of paper on top. I've used yellow construction paper here, but you can use whatever you've got on hand. Use one hand to hold the leaf in place and the other to press the paper into the inky leaf. Use your muscles. This is probably the best part. You can now what's called pull your print. Lift off the paper and see what you've got. Check out these little circles that printed. These are the little tiny fern spores that are on the underside of their leaves. Cool! Let's try printing some more. Alright, 3 leaf prints on one. Each print shows off the individual leaf's shape and texture. Let's try another color of ink. This is a nice big leaf. Remember to have the veiny side up. And make sure to ink up the tip and the stem. Here I folded a piece of construction paper to make a nice card. Oh, this one has a lot of good details. The dark purple printed well on the blue paper. Remember that this is all a bit of an experiment. Watch what colors of ink and paper work well together and what ones don't. I like how this Japanese maple printed, so I'm going to turn it into a card and maybe even print it again. Same leaf, printed twice, just in a different direction. Now let's try inking leaves with acrylic paint and a brush. Squeeze out about a quarter-size blob of paint onto your palette. Work with a couple colors if you like. Wet your brush and start to paint the back side or underside of the leaf. Don't forget the stem. Drop your painted leaf down onto a fresh sheet of scrap paper. Place another paper on top and apply some pressure. Be careful not to shift the leaf below. Flip it over and pull your print. These two leaves were from the same tree. We can see a bit more detail on the leaf printed on the blue paper because we used the ink and brayer for that one. They give a more subtle effect and catch more textures. The print on the red paper looks great too. The paint shows off the leaf's handsome heart shape. Okay, Summer Art Club kids, just for fun, we're also going to try out some foam printing. We've got all our supplies out, so let's give it a shot. You'll need a foam container or foam plate of some sort, and your scissors. I'm going to cut the sides off this one and then clean them up with an X-Acto blade. Ask for a bit of help with this part. X-Acto blades are really sharp. Okay, 2 small plates are ready to go. Now get out a ballpoint pen. This step can be a bit tricky. Press firmly into the foam with the pen, but not so firmly that you go through it. If you press too lightly, then your line won't print. Test this out to find the proper pressure. Nobody said it had to be square. Let's get out the ink and the brayer again. I thought this heart would make a good card, so let's fold this white piece of printer paper into 4 and print on the front square. This time I'm going to lower the foam down on top of the paper to make sure that it's in the center. Okay, now let's pull our print. I'm going to roll this heart up one more time with ink and print it again, but on pink paper this time. Do you have a favorite? Let's give a try to inking up a foam plate with acrylic paint and a brush. With our pen, let's get our drawing on here. Try your best to sweep the paint over the top of the foam plate. Try not to get paint into the pen lines. Work fast because acrylic paint dries quickly. Put your foam plate onto a clean sheet of scrap paper and place another paper on top. Then apply some pressure. Now you can pull your print. Instead of a dark color of paint like this green, I'm going to try white paint, but on a dark colored paper. Let's see what that will look like. Interestingly, the lines of this cartoon person now are black, because that's where the black paper is showing through. It's just another technique to add to your toolbox. Thanks for joining me today, Summer Art Club kids. Hope you had some fun and learned some cool stuff. See you next time.